I'm a program director at Civic Heart Community Services. We're located in the 3rd Ward of Houston, Texas. And today I present to you alternatives to juvenile incarceration, a community-based model. So just a bit of a really quick rundown on who we are. We are a community-based social service organization. We have over 34 years of working with marginalized and disadvantaged communities. We use a holistic approach with a range of programs and services, including housing, HIV outreach prevention, teen pregnancy prevention, substance misuse prevention, access to healthcare coverage, self-sufficiency, employment, youth justice programs, mentoring, and the Northern Third Ward Implementation Project. So we are, our services actually reach 59 counties throughout Texas, especially with our Navigator program. And we have a diverse workforce with over 75 employees in 25 programs. We have a history of capacity building programs and a history of providing culturally and trauma-informed programs. So just a little bit of an update of who we are. I wanted to share with you about the Youth Justice Community Reinvestment Fund today as the alternative to juvenile incarceration. And part of this umbrella of youth justice programs that we have at Civic Heart, we have 5 different programs that seek to work with justice-involved youth. And one of it is Voices. It's a gender-specific program working with girls. As you heard a lot of presentations today, I utilized the PhD study to create and develop this program, which works with our girls. And this is a program that uses an evidence-based curriculum known as Voices, and wraparound case management for 6 to 12 months, as well as mentorship. We have the brother program of that, serving the boys, known as Youth Can, Youth Create a New Beginning. Similarly, we believe some of the very important elements of program development would include re-entry support, vocational support, mentorship, and wraparound case management. We have an arts program as well to expose our youth to high-quality arts programming, and that is a new grant that we obtained just this past year. We have mentoring as well, and the Youth Justice Reinvestment Fund, which is what I'm going to be presenting more about today, which is an intermediary program to build capacity in homegrown grassroots organizations in Houston, Texas. So some background and goals of the Youth Justice Reinvestment Fund. This is a partnership between Harris County Office of County Administration and the Harris County Juvenile Probation Department. The goal of this program is really to identify best investments to address disproportionate minority content and the ethnic and racial disparities in the juvenile justice system. We're designed to enhance and promote community-based programming and reduce juvenile involvement for young people, offer culturally responsive prevention and intervention services, as well as to direct investments in homegrown grassroots community-based organizations who have already been doing this work over the many years. And they maybe have never been able to be given an opportunity to get funding or resources to expand their work to support our young people. The Youth Justice Fund, it's a $2 million grant per year that was presented by the Harris County Office, and now it's called Office of County Administration, and the Juvenile Probation Department, which was unanimously approved by the Commissioners Court in 2021. And thereafter, in 2022, Civic Heart was then approved to be the intermediary or the backbone organization to implement this fund since 2022. And this program is for 2 years, and it was really created to help these community programs in these neighborhoods that are impacted by juvenile justice referrals. I have given you a printout of the referrals in 2022 and 2023. We can go to the next slide. And those are the referrals that we looked at and understood which neighborhoods really needed these community-based supports. And so our job was really to engage with these impacted communities, to develop and distribute an RFP, a call for proposals, so that we can select grantee organizations who are doing this work, to administer these grants and support these grantee organizations through training, coaching, building infrastructure, as well as reporting on the grants through program performance and financial reports, and to be the point of contact for problem solving, resolving conflicts, and responding to complaints. All right, so this community needs gap analysis was where we started. We utilized these heat maps that was produced by Harris County Juvenile Probation Department to understand where the hot spots in Harris County were and where they got the highest number of youth that are going out into these communities. We visited these locations. We tried to find where the community-based supports were, or the programs, or what kind of services were available in those communities. And thereafter, we tried to look out for these organizations and introduce them to the RFP so that they could apply for the fund. So you'll see that these are 2 different years. One is in 2022 and the other one is in 2023. When we were developing the RFP, we were utilizing the 2022 map, and we would see these hotspots are actually the ones in red, and you'll realize that this is where you have like 31 to 38 kids that are coming out. And we utilize this to see where do we need to ensure that there are community-based support for these kids that are living in these very big hotspots. In 2023, we found that the map shifted a little bit. There was another area that reflected another hotspot up here in Spring. And then we realized, okay, it shifted a little bit, but the areas that didn't have supports in the beginning, it continued to persist even in 2023. So when we looked at all of this, we realized we really need to let the data, let the research, let this guide the practice, let this show us where do we need to provide these investments into so that our kids can be successful in the community and not have to go back into the system and get locked up. Let's go on to the next one. And so we ended up actually funding 6 organizations across Harris County. They can be located all around. We had one ancillary grantee which managed the Youth Advisory Board. We really believe youth voice is really important. And so we actually we had a Youth Advisory Board. We have 7 members right now, which provides consultancy, right, on this work. And that's Houston Revision. We have Young People in Action. We have Legends and Legacies, Talent Youth Coalition, My Chapel, Workshop Houston, and the Forgotten Third. They're all around the map, and they are actively working with our young people now, and we are actually moving into our 2nd year of funding. So these are all the organizations that we funded, and that right now we're actively building capacity with them. A lot of these organizations some of them just started the very year that we had this program, because they were not fully established before. And so with this opportunity, they're now able to start working on all aspects of business development, right? As we know, a nonprofit has to grow in many areas for them to be sustainable, for them to be competitive for any future grants that they get. So part of our goal really is that we want all these organizations to really beef up on what they have, the structures that they have, the policies that they have, and really be able to fine-tune their programming such that they can serve these kids effectively, not just for 2 years while the funding exists, but for many years to come. So this is really from a foundational aspect, really providing a framework for them to succeed in the long run. So these are some of the capacity building tenets and the things that we worked on, and we are working on actively with them. Programmatic work, business administration, fiscal administration, organizational, cultural, equity access, resource development, performance management, program model, data usage, and partnership with community and government. These were the areas that were identified as really important for a nonprofit to be sustainable in the locations that they are, so that they can keep this work going. So the Reinvestment Fund really deepens community connections and provides alternatives to juvenile incarceration by serving children at home with their families and with their communities. And we really want to thank the Harris County Juvenile Probation Department and the Office of County Administration and the Commissioner's Court for really wanting to invest in these small grassroots organizations who play a very critical role in building a true continuum of care. And that's what we see as really important for our kids, right? That they have this care coordination. There's a continuum of care when they are serving some time, possibly inside these facilities or detention, and when they come out, that they know that their communities got them, and that they have this continuum of care to continue servicing the needs that they have so that they can become successful and desist from crime. And so by providing that opportunity for youth and families in their home communities, it helps to prevent and address the root causes of involvement in the justice system. So this is a quote that I really like. I want to say thank you for being here and for being at our presentation, but I want to say we find ourselves here in community. Others are here in front, beside, behind, each a passenger, each a captain, doing the best we can. Come, let us journey together, by River Call Manish Mishra. One of the big things that we really see in this project is the idea of bridging power back to the community. The community was very involved in planning for this project. We had lots of consultation and advisory meetings that went on with the community to develop what this project should look like. And as of now, we also have 2 different avenues by which we collect a lot of feedback. We have the Youth Advisory Council and we have a Community Advisory Board that's made up of community members and stakeholders that help us to kind of help regulate what we do, right? So that we have accountability and we are responsible to these funds by knowing that, you know, the community agrees that this is how we should proceed. We also have a Community Engagement Advisory Board as part of the work that we do at Civic Heart. That's the policy arm of what we do. So as we fight in this fight of addressing racial and ethnic disparities, we also believe policy change is important. And so this board actually also seats multiple community members, practitioners, academics. We sit together and we identify, now the legislation session is coming next year. What kind of policies do we need to change in order to address disproportionate minority contact? And so we're really, in the process of trying to address this issue in a holistic manner, in practice, in policy, and really looking at the implications of all the research that we've heard, even in this conference, even with my fellow presenters, that we really need to take this step forward to build these community supports for our young people so they can succeed at home where they really should be. So thank you so much. I'm wondering if there are any questions for any of the panelists for this presentation, but please